No doubt.
Looks like they checked also Brooks and then crossed it out and then checked, filled in the oval to Trump. So I would say it's a vote for Trump. Okay, I'm going to show it on the camera one more time and then you can ask further. Okay, so once again, this is what it looks like. Do I hear a motion to count that as a vote? Diane? Okay, is there, okay, it's been moved and seconded to be counted as a vote for David Trone. I'm going to do a quick roll call. Margie, Kino, Diane, Ami, Alex, and I vote aye as well. So unanimously, we decided this was a vote for Mr. Trump. This is and the question is for school board district 4, who is that vote for? Has everybody? Okay, do I hear a motion? Mr. Vincent. Now, cleared for Board of Education District 4 is a vote for not distributed. Okay, it's been moved and seconded that the ballot be counted as a vote for Bethany Mandel. Any discussion? Oh, all right, I'm going to go down the list. Alex? Aye. Ami? Diane? Margie? Tina? And I vote aye. It is unanimous. They will duplicate that to prevent it being counted as an overvote, correct? Okay. 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 So we'll take it as a given that all ballots will be duplicated unless you say otherwise. Tell me what I'm putting on the screen. Okay. Uh, this is the ballot for the judges as it's been presented to us. And they can only vote for 4. I'm going to want to spread the wealth in terms of who makes motions here in case people want to spread it. We'll leave that up to you all. I need the ballot in order to read the names. Does someone want to make a motion? Okay, so the chair will entertain a motion as to how to count. Is there a second? Okay, is there any discussion? Okay, I'm going to go down the list. Chino, Margie, Diane, Alex, Ami, and I vote aye. Okay, it will be counted as a vote for those 4. And we'll move on to the next ballot as soon as I'm. So this is for the delegates to the Democratic National Convention. The instructions say that you can vote for up to 10. And there are 9 markings. Is that right? Vote for up to 10? And there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. There are 11 candidates on the ballot. And 9 of them have been marked, but one of them has been marked differently. So first of all, it says, when you look at the ballot, there are some that, and then at the bottom, there is one. Whoops, there is one that have some writing on top of it, and the question for the board counts as a vote. Okay, and to be fair, it is not clearly an X, which we often have seen for people who want to cross things out. So that's the question. It's almost right. It's almost like that's the question. That's the question. Is do we think that the voter is trying to say I really want this person or I don't want this person? Yeah. Oh, let's see. Yeah, and I may want to borrow your magnifying glass before we're done. Okay. Magnifier. Maybe you can turn it over because that doesn't have a light. Oh, wow. Okay. So it is now open for discussion. Let's start with discussion because I personally am a little uncertain on this one. I will say that I don't want to go first. I want to hear what others have to say. Go ahead.
I believe that this is, in my mind, a clear attempt to eliminate the vote because it is so radically different a mark from all the others, which are the same, which are circles indicating a vote for. This to me looks like a mistaken filled-in bubble and then an attempt to X out at least twice to cross out an incorrect vote. Therefore, I suggest that that is a no vote for that person, but the other ones should be counted as votes for.
Any thoughts? Say again? Okay. Um, but this is an attempt to cross out, and other people think that it is impossible to determine intent. Is the result the same? So, so if in order for it to be a vote, we would have to determine that we believe that the extra markings was an intent to vote, and that the evidence was clear. Okay. Okay. Um, well, let's be clear here because the word accept sometimes can be confusing. That we can that we judge that. All right. So the motion is that we judge that the vote for Ms. Julie Roden Zebrak. I don't know if I'm pronouncing her name correctly. It might be Rodan. But whatever the case, that is not a vote. Is there a second? Okay. Any further discussion? Okay. And I'm gonna say that I'm very much on the fence between whether it is a cross out or a can't figure out what it is, but I have a hard time believing that it is an effort to emphasize the vote. I think it right to vote for. Okay, so let's go down the list. Diane, no, just yes or no on the motion. Kina, Margie, Ani, Alex, and I vote aye. Right. Well, we kind of did the discussion first because I wanted to discuss it before we put a motion on the table because that one was a little bit different. I'm impressed that we have so many voter intent issues in one morning. It's not even like a full morning, you know? Yeah. Yes. Right. Yes. Okay. So here is how that file looks. This is for School Board District 2. School Board District 2. I'm going to pass it to you guys if you have it. Yes, School Board District 2 is, I should say, Board of Education District 2. The official name is Board of Education. Is the office at issue on this ballot? Obviously, board members can decide that there are other offices at issue, but that's the one that looks that way to me. I'm going to call on someone who has not yet gone first to have the first opinion this time, and perhaps even to make the motion. Okay. Um, I'm going to ask Margie or Tina if they would like to express an opinion. Do either of you are either of you interested in going first? Go ahead, Margie. Okay. Does anybody have a different view that they want to express? Okay, the only thing I want to add to that is that there are markings next to Ricky by Lee. I apologize if I'm not pronouncing that name correctly. And I interpret that as either being just a squiggle or being an attempt to initial the ballot by the precedence of our board, which we are not bound by, but I just want to put on the record, we do not consider someone who initials a change to their ballot as having had an intent to identify themselves, because we don't have any idea who this person is. If they had signed their full name, you would have a very different circumstance here. But because that this is not clearly a particular individual, that is why we do not have to reject it. Under the state law, if they had an intent to identify themselves, then we might be required to reject the ballot. And we also would not necessarily be showing it on camera because it would be identified. So, okay, so you want to come out? Okay, there's been moved that the vote be counted for Rebecca Keller Swandrowski. Is there a second? Seconded by Diane. Any just further discussion? Okay, Ami, Alex, Tina, Diane, Martin, and I vote aye. Hope everyone's okay with my just kind of changing the order periodically. I don't want anyone to feel like they're being put on the spot unnecessarily. I might even go first on occasion, just for be fair to me, or all of you, because going first is not really necessarily a pleasure. But so for the alternate delegates for the Republican National Convention, first of all, we should see if the instruction. Whoops, let me find it. Here we go. The instruction is vote for up to three. There are four markings here, and you can see that there are the bottom three and the top three, and take a look at that. Okay, okay. I can do that again. In fact, I want to make it as easy for you guys as possible. And yeah, but your dedication to us is appreciated. In all seriousness, that was not a sarcastic comment. That was a real. Okay, so once again, it is a vote for three. So, okay, everybody can see that. Who would like to make a motion? Diane? Okay. There, so, right. For the motion, we don't need to give all of that, but that's okay. It's been moved that that it be counted as votes for Brigitte Mulligan, Elise Schloss, and Michael Schloss. Is there a second? Seconded by Tina. Any further discussion? Okay, Ami, Alex, Diane, Tina, Margie, and I vote aye. You gave a very good explanation. You gave a you gave a very good explanation. I We all have been there where you give either enough or too much, and there's no perfect Goldilocks, whatever in the middle. So am I. So are we all. Okay, I apologize for laughing because this is an interesting one of the more interesting ones that we've had. Okay, so this is a vote for President of the United States on the Democratic ballot. A few things that people should know. First of all, you are only allowed to vote for one. Secondly, there are no write-in votes in a primary election. Well, no, I didn't say that. I'm making clear that if it was a write-in vote for me, it would not count as well. Um, and if any of you out there who could count on voting, you cannot vote for me in this primary. And so the question is how to count this particular vote that does have a filled-in circle next to uncommitted to any presidential candidate, but next to the uncommitted presidential candidate, they have written twice the word Trump. So the question, it could be considered, it could be considered an uncommitted vote. It could be considered an improper write-in vote, which would not be counted. I suppose it could be considered an overvote if you're voting for uncommitted and Trump. I'm not sure if that would qualify as an overvote. It might require some research to figure it out. I'm going to go first in debate on this one, and I'm going to say that I think it should be counted as an uncommitted vote, and I think that the voter has demonstrated that they are not voting for any of the other candidates who are on the ballot.
Oh, that's not true, though. They voted for senator and.
No, right. What I'm saying is that for president,
Oh, for president.
what I'm saying is that for president, they did, in fact, fill in the circle for uncommitted. And basically, I consider their use of the word Trump as just commentary. Um, which admittedly made me laugh because of the whole situation, and I probably should have kept that to myself. But yeah, well, that is also possible. But they did. Their votes for the other offices will still count. Now,
know what to look for in the fall.
right, exactly. Yes, they did not sign their ballots. So, and I will say that the person voted for Congress and for Senate, but did not vote for any other offices on the ballot. So, like I said, I think it should be counted as an uncommitted vote for president. But it's one person's opinion, and if you all have a theory under which it should count some other way, I'm certainly willing to hear it. I can see the gears turning, Mr. Vince. So, I assume, Kevin, that if I had incorrectly stated the law, you would have corrected me. So, the floor is open for discussion or motion or. All right, I'm going to go first. I will move that this be counted as as a vote as uncommitted to any presidential candidate. All right, it's been moved and seconded. Any further discussion? Okay, so I will vote aye. Alex? Aye. Alex votes aye. Diane? Tina? Margie? Ami? Okay, we are unanimous. I will say that every candidate, I've been, this is my 13th, not counting the recount, every canvas is something new, and that was new. I have not seen I have not seen a presidential primary ballot with a commentary that suggested that they were voting for someone in the other party's primary. So, yes, you generally. Okay. So here is, you guys see that? This is the vote for Board of Education District 2. Did you see that? Okay. Okay. The chair will entertain a motion as to who this vote should be counted to. Mr. Vincent.
With respect to the ballot just presented to us from precinct 410, I move that this ballot with respect to Board of Education District 2 be counted as a vote for Natalie Zimmerman and not for Rebecca Spondrowski.
Is there a second? Okay, it's been moved and seconded that this ballot be counted in District 2 Board of Education for Natalie Zimmerman, I believe is her name. Yep. Any further discussion? Okay, I'm going to call the vote. Tina? Diane? Margie? Alex?
Aye.
Ami? And I vote aye. Well, we're not. Right. Each folder, but not each ballot. We're not holding them to it. Okay. So this is a vote for one. All that. No, okay, I'll bring it back to you. I'm sorry. I have a tendency to hand it to Mr. Vincent, who's standing right in front of me. I will try to mix it up. It does. It does. Okay. Is there a motion? Diane. Call your name. Okay. It's been moved that it be counted as a vote for Lynn Harris. Is there a second? Tina seconds. Any discussion? Okay, we'll call the vote. Alex.
Aye.
Ami. Diane. Tina. Margie. And I vote aye. It is unanimous.
Probably whoever's making the motion should have the ballot.
Yes, whoever's making the motion should have the ballot in hand. Is a good idea. And as far as I'm concerned, you only need to indicate how it should be counted. And I think that's,
Bob mentioned
Yeah.
the precinct.
you don't need the precinct. You don't need, I don't think, Kevin is keeping track of all of these anyway, so that the duplications will get done correctly. Yes. Oh, wow. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. All right. So this is a vote for 10. There are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. There are 11 candidates on the ballot. And you can see the question as to how to interpret that. Okay. All right. So the chair will entertain a motion on this ballot. Margie. You can indicate, you don't have to list every name if you don't want to. Okay, so there are 11 candidates for 10 spots. There are 10 that are circled and one that is circled with what appears to be a cross out over it for Lisa Smith. And Margie is moving to count the other 10 and not count the one for Lisa Smith. Is there a second? All right, it's been moved by Margie, seconded by Alex. Is there any further discussion? Okay.
Mr. President, I would note that the one that appears to be crossed out is uncommitted. The person voted Biden president, so it makes sense that the other 10 are Biden delegates, which they are.
Okay. Okay. That's a very good point that Mr. Vincent just made. I want to make sure we repeat, which is that the person who voted for President Biden and not uncommitted. All right. I'm going to call the roll. Alex. Ami votes aye. Margie. Diane. Tina. And I vote aye. Okay, that is that it's a vote for up to 4. And we have to decide whether the marking is a vote. It would be it would be it is the only mark. We have to decide whether that particular mark, which I would add, does not go through the circle. We would have to decide whether that is the intent to be a vote. Um, can you all hear? Okay, okay. Let me try to paraphrase. What Ami said was that she thinks it is not an intent to vote, that it is a squibble. Excuse me, I used the wrong versus squiggle, which is obviously very different. Yeah, yeah. Seriously, you say squiggle, I say squibble, and you know. Okay. Oh, that's right. Okay. Is there a motion? Does anyone have, or does anyone, Diane, go ahead.
Did your motion?
Your motion is not to count any votes
Any votes for judge?
for judge of the circuit court. Is there a second? All right, it's been moved by Diane and seconded by Margie that this be counted as no votes for the clerk, for the judge of the circuit court. Any further discussion? Okay, Diane, Tina, Margie, Alex,
Aye.
Tommy, and I vote aye. Okay, so this is about the vote for president, which means the vote for one. That is what. Okay.
Well, it looks to me like, I mean, I'll let everyone else take a look at it. They voted for 3 of them and decided to cross out Williamson and Phillips.
I agree. I think it's a vote for Joe Biden.
There hadn't been an oval filled in for Biden, then I'm not sure. But
right. Well, but there is. Okay, pass it to me, please. Are you going to see it? Okay. Motion? Anybody?
Mr. President,
Alex?
the ballot just presented to us with respect to the office of President of the United States, I move that it be counted as a vote for Joe Biden.
Okay, is there a second? Okay, it's been moved and seconded that this ballot be counted as a vote for Joe Biden. Any further discussion? Okay, Ani, Alex?
Aye.
Tina? Diane? Margie? And I vote aye. When it gets really difficult, it'll be less nice. You know, not today. Not so far today. Not so far today. We'll see whether Kevin is going to find one for us that is a split vote. Every vote we've had today has been unanimous. We had a difference of opinion as to whether as to why we were voting the way we did, but we all voted the same way. Oh, okay. I was wondering when we were going to get to. Um, on the ballot from right out far to the circle at the top of the ballot, but it's not completely covering the mark. Um, that is the okay. Has everyone seen? Okay. Does anybody need an explanation as to what whiteout is? Okay, good, because okay, uh, okay, yeah, yes. Well, let's just say that whiteout. What? Yeah, yeah. Okay, because whiteout used to be much more general use than it is today. Okay. Uh, who would like to make a motion on this ballot? Oh, you have to, okay. Um, I'm going to go ahead and make a motion. I'm going to move that it be counted as a vote for Natalie Zimmerman. Is there a second? Seconded by Kina. Any further discussion? Okay. I will vote aye. Ami votes aye. Alex? Aye. Kina? Diane? Margie? Okay, we all vote aye. We've now established the precedent that whiteout is an intent to erase. Now, I will say that the good the good the good news for us was that there was no markings on top of the whiteout because we've seen those too. We've seen those too. Did it because of protest? Uh, What? Okay. What are you announcing? Oh, so you don't have more work for them than you're done. Okay. Well, the question is on U.S. Senator. a hard one. Okay, so this is the ballot for U.S. Senator. As well as some check marks that are next to but not over the circle for U.S. Senate. We are on microphone, and in fact, this is the only microphone that's on at the moment. Yeah. Well, you can bring a chair over, or you can stay there. I'm good. I'm good either way. Yes, whatever works. I appreciate that you're not making us pass it all the way down to you. Um, well, I think we can have a board discussion as to what we want the dress code to be for the rest of the canvas. Because I am more than happy to suggest that we are only dressing up if they want. But
The ban-off rule.
yes. Mr. Banoff was very fond of that rule. But okay, well, I mean, right, understood. Obviously, everyone has individual choice, but no. There's no apologies required. You don't know what other people think yet. Oh, okay. Okay. I just want to note that there are no other check marks on this ballot other than the ones that are next to this list. Okay, so rather than instead of starting with a motion, for this one, I'm just going to open it for discussion. If people want to discuss what they think should be how we address this particular race on this particular ballot. So I will point out as a son and father of left-handed people that sometimes left-handed people do that check mark in that fact. So, so anyone else want to express an opinion?
Looks to me to be ultimately to prefer Mr. Cobb over Mr. Wild.
I'm sorry, you think that the voter is undoing the last circle? That's interesting. See, I personally believe that this is an over. I don't see an intent to undo the vote at the bottom. I see an intent, to we've had voters who have drawn arrows. We've had voters who have crossed things out. We've had voters who have drawn an arrow and written this one.
Well, I was going to point that out. The double check mark would be the same as if you had two ovals filled in and then next to one of them it said this one.
We've never approved of a vote that I know of where they said this one but did not cross out the other. And that's what I'm concerned about, is that this does not. If there had been any indication that the last one was that there was an indication that the voter was not doing the last, I would be comfortable calling this a vote for the one with the check. but to me personally, and I'm just one member, to me personally, this strikes me as an overvote. I don't think we can, with precision, know whether the check mark means yes or the check mark means no. I think they mean yes, but I'm not sure. Like I said, if the last one had been crossed out, I could be sold on it was a vote for Mr. Cobb.
On, might I draw your attention to this? It would be in my view.
All right, but on that one, let me just show this to the voter written next to one candidate vote yes. So the question is the double check mark the equivalent of that? I would still suggest that to me that the check mark is not sufficient. Do we have any other examples of double check mark without the wording and without the other one being crossed out? Feel free. Well, we've seen examples where when someone attempts to cross out one, that we count a vote for someone else. We have never, in my time on the board, I cannot remember ever having this particular situation where we had check marks, we have no words, um, and we do not have any. There's no communication about undoing the mark of the second candidate. So for these examples, um, there are marks for both candidates, but they use words to say this one or vote yes. The question is whether we consider the double check marks to be sufficient evidence that yes, that they're saying this one, not that. I personally am not convinced that that is the case. Others could think differently. We have no indication as to which one they marked first. We have no indication as to which one they marked second. Um, and and there's also a marking next to where it says vote for one. I don't know. Yeah, I don't know what that means. But and like I said, it's a close call. I am not. I guess I would. Well, let me think about it. Is it the same thing to say check mark? Well, left-handed, left. No. Left-handed. Left-handed check to me backwards check marks is the same as that. Because we certainly don't discriminate against left-handers. I can't go home if I do that. Yeah. Um, okay. So is the consensus of others other than me that this is a vote for Mr. Cobb?
Yeah.
All right. I'm convinced. Yes. Yes. Oh no. I will also point out that 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 the check on the left side could also be an error. Um, you know, right. I understand. The check on the other side makes it look like it's not an error. So in any event. All right, so the chair will entertain a motion. Diane. Okay, is there a second? Okay, moved by Diane, seconded by Kina. We'll go down the list. Kina, Diane, Margie, Alex, aye, and I will vote aye. I voted aye. You convinced me.
Write it down.
Yeah, by all means. Not only write it down, alert the media. Alert the, yeah, alert the media. I am convinced it would be. It would be. We're gonna be equally surprised if I convince Diana something. Yeah, yeah, we're gonna be equally surprised. It has happened. It has happened. It has happened. One vote in particular comes to mind that yeah. It was the vote on access to the 2020 canvas, media access to the 2020 canvas. Yeah. I'm sorry, for this state. Okay, so this is, once again, this is a vote for 10. There are 11 candidates. There is one candidate that has a partial mark, and there is one candidate that has a mark with a check in addition. So that's the top of the ballot. See that there is an additional check mark for. We also see that the funding for Lisa Smith is. Okay. And then the items are marked. So I'm gonna pass it this way first. Just to change things up a bit. Just to, as a middle child, not to have any children feel like they were discriminated against. There you go. That explains everything. Yeah, explains everything. There are 11 candidates, and you can vote for 10. Yeah, I would agree with that. Okay, everyone has. Okay, okay. Who would like to make a motion? Okay, is there a second? Okay, it's been moved and seconded that it be counted as a vote for all 10 candidates except for Lisa Smith. Any further discussion? Okay, I will call the roll. Tommy, Alex, aye. Margie, Diane, Tina, and I vote aye.
Right. Very polite.
But there's a polite apology, but it's not signed, so that's a good thing. That is a good thing. Okay, so let me start. The apology says, "I am sorry. I need a new ballot paper. Thanks." So
And she will get one.
yes, she will get one. So that is what the U.S. senators looks like, and that is what the apology looks like. I'm sorry. I need a new ballot paper. Thanks. And that is the U.S. senator vote. Wait. She may think that we're sending her the ballot. We're not, but we would have sent it to her if she had called in and asked for it. If she's, they would have canceled the old one and they would have given her a new one. And most of our voters probably don't quite realize that. I'm sure that it's available somewhere, but has everybody had a chance to see this? Okay. Is there a motion?
Mr. President,
Okay, Mr. Vincent.
this ballot from precinct 430, move that with respect to the office of U.S. Senator, we count it as a vote for David Trump.
Okay, is there a second? It's been moved and seconded that it be counted as a vote for David Trone. I will call the roll. Keenan, Margie, Diane, Alex,
Aye.
Bonnie, and I vote aye. Is this the last one? Okay. The chair will note before we adjourn that it might be a good idea before our 1 o'clock meetings in the future for all of us to eat.
Yeah.
Right. To eat. Because, yeah. Well, I mean, I brought, yeah, well, I am not a nutritionist. I was just suggesting that if you do not want to eat your lunch this late, that you might want to consider. I will take back my unconditional nutritional advice. So, oh, this is an interesting one. Okay, so this is for board. That is what Alex, can I borrow your magnifier? Thank you. That's what I want to see. Am I doing it right? There we go. Okay. Do you want to? They'll come to you. Unless someone else wants it. Thank you for bringing it. I should probably get one for the days you're not here.
You can buy them at CVS.
Is that right, CVS asked?
Yeah.
Are there any choices that one has to make? Like, are they all the same, basically?
Well, the lights are probably LED now.
Okay.
And this one is old enough that says made in the USA. Yeah. You can buy them at CVS. Electro Optic is who makes it.
maybe you and the board will spring for some, I probably don't have a whole lot of use for it other than for.
I did see this. It's probably an LED light now. This one so long.
I think I know what I want to do. I may be willing to put the motion forth on this one. I think this one is closely related to the one that you guys convinced me on. Correct. That's that. you know. Well, this one is not clear. If it right, I understand there's uncertainty. That's why they pay us the big bucks. I mean, not really big bucks, but you guys may remember that we now get paid on a per meeting basis. So you get paid for the day to day. Days you don't come, you don't get paid. Days you come, you get paid. That is a new thing compared to past years. 75 for the days you come. 0, 0, 0. Yes, it's public. We voted on it in a public meeting in 2023. We decided that if there are board members who attend more frequently than others, they should be appropriately remunerated, especially it means giving up work, it means giving up other things. And, right, exactly. But obviously, it is a very minor incentive, in all of the incentives. So, okay.
Well, if one accepts check means yes, and X means no, then I think it does indicate an intent to vote for Zimmerman over Diaz.
That was where I was going. I will say that when I used Alex's magnifying glass, what I really was looking for, when you first look at it, not the clearest X, but I think when you look at it under the microphone, I think it's pretty clearly an X and magnifying glass. You are right. It screams out that yeah. Okay. Clearly, I needed more caffeine this morning than what I got. Okay. Yes, yeah. So let me just say that in my religion, we are starting tonight a celebration of miracles. And I think we started early here with Diane convincing me and my convincing Diane. So why is this day different than all other days? It's because yes. Next thing you know, we're going to be reclining in our chairs. Okay. So, is there a motion? Or, I mean, I'll make the motion. I'll move that this be counted as a vote for Natalie Zimmerman. Okay, it's been moved and seconded. Any further discussion? Okay, I'll start with Ani. Ani, aye. Alex,
aye.
Tina, Diane, Margie, and I vote aye. And does that conclude our referral meeting? Okay. Okay, he's going to be done by then. Okay. Follow up with these individuals, tell them that they did not move the ballot. Maybe they did it at a protest, maybe they did it as they were but whether the board wants to staff go ahead and follow up with these individuals. Obviously, they have to return their ballot at 8 o'clock on and they have to correct. They have to come in basically or they
Well, my view is if they say
also may not have been. I will say, as the board member who just called a magnifying glass a microphone, that it is entirely possible that I could forget something important. And certainly I have thought I had sent emails that I didn't send, and et cetera. So my own view is this is consistent with someone who who sends the ballot and forgets the oath, forget the ballot and sign the oath. I would consider that to be in the same category.
What does the law say about the chair process? Both are mail now, but they have time. We have a for a period of time. We don't have to see anything until the very end of the camps. They have a very time secure. We reach out to them and say, you didn't sign your oath. You copied it and signed the oath. This is a little different. There is no state public account. They return a ballot. They return an envelope. The others. Attorney General's office said your board needs to establish what
Yeah, 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 yeah. No, I think we all want the staff. I would be in favor of letting the staff vote.
well, the board signed up to the state. He raised the question. Yes, no, and he just wants to know what the board wants to hear. He wants to whatever the staff, whatever the board passes, he's there. They can reach out to the voter. Other would be hearing is go and vote by mail ballot. That would be explained to the voter. So they couldn't agree to one. So doesn't the law speak directly to that? In that situation, it says that you shall hear. If the law is silent, well, I don't know if I agree with that. But if we want legislature, are we making law? You know? Yeah, I don't know. I mean, it's
Glad you got off your feet.
no. Because the reality is, quite frankly, we have a dog standing in. We have another problem, another envelope. Yes. Just not real comfortable and making because they're not comfortable. In the way we find it. That's right. I'm not going to rock the plank. He said there was nothing that would prevent us from, but he wasn't encouraging. Well, well, why don't we do this? Maybe like make things strong. Why don't I try and get some clarity? You all can do this. But then we still have plenty of time to sell. We're not even out of it. That's why I reached out. I reached out to Dan, Barry. I'm gonna say the three people I got talked about already. Right, that's why I was looking at my phone, because we had copies here at a page. I was trying to see whether either one of them did. Well, contrast this with the situation that we might have noticed in the last residents someone to return a mailing forward. My view was that that wasn't permitted under the statute, but according to Bill Bell, they interpreted the statute as returning to an election official or an election office. I disagree with it, but they interpret that to mean that that included someone at a polling place. We don't have anything like that. But there was a term that they interpreted. We don't get to make the rules. These are the, I compared them. It's the same as what we approved. September is when we approved them. It's taken a long time to get the state to agree to them, and now they're beating on us to sign, which of course we've been waiting for them to tell us that they approved.
Okay, I thought that Kevin said he had more than one thing to discuss with us. Mm. Okay, are we adjourning? Because I thought Kevin said he had something else to discuss with us. Okay, we are adjourned from our 1 o'clock meeting. We are officially adjourned for today.
Jerry, you can kill it.